Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do Grade 7 Review Part 2, available at Lord Byng's Math Department website for Grade 7s going into Grade 8. So let's get started. So we're going to circle our final answers. Number 1, fill in each blank with the correct symbol, smaller than, greater than, or equal. So we have 10 over 13 compared to 0.8. And we're going to start by doing a division, 10 divided by 13. And we start the division and we get 0.7 something something. And we can stop right there because now we're comparing 0.7 to 0.8. So 0.8 is larger, so that's the symbol as such. Number 2, 0.3 bar or 0.3. 0.3 bar means the 3 is repeating itself constantly. And so we have 0.33 is bigger than 0.3. Number 3, order from smallest to largest. So here we have a mixture of fractions and decimal. And so we're going to turn the fraction into decimal and notice which ones are smaller and bigger. And so 0.2 is the smallest, 0.5 is the next, 0.75 is the next, 0.82, and then 1.65. Number 4, find the prime factors. So here we're taking 75 for number 4. And so that's the same as 5 times 15. And 15 is the same as 3 times 5. So those are our prime factors, 3 times 5 times 5. Number 5, 100. We can rewrite that as 10 times 10. And each of those is 2 times 5. So those are our prime factors, 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. Number 6, 48. This is the same as 2 times 24. We can break up 24 into 2 times 12, break up 12 into 3 times 4, break up the 4 and 2 times 2, and 3 is prime, remains like that. So we have 2, 2, 2, 2, 3 as such. Number 7, simplify. Minus 8 plus 17 minus 12 gives us negative 20 plus 17, so minus 3. 27 plus negative 9 5/8. And so here we're going to transform 27 into 26 and 8/8. And here we can do 26 minus 9, 17. And then 8/8 minus 5/8 gives 3/8, like that. So 17 and 3/8 is our final answer. Number 9. 15 minus 27. So this is the same as doing 27 minus 15 and then times negative when you're done. So we do that, you get 12. So the answer is negative 12. Number 10. Negative 265 minus negative 464. The minus times a minus becomes a plus. And so we have 464 minus 265. We align the numbers, perform the subtraction, and get 199. Number 11, negative 26.31 minus 380.2. This is the same as if it was positive and then turn negative at the end. So we have 280.2 plus 26.31 giving 306.51. So a negative plus another negative makes it more negative as such. Number 12, 11 over 12 minus negative 19 over 6. So this minus times a negative becomes positive. We're adding two fractions, so we want common denominator. We're going to bring the 6 up to 12 by going times 2. 11 plus 38, 49 over 12, cannot be reduced, so that's our final answer. 13, negative 8 over 7 times negative 14 over 11. Negative times a negative, those cancel out. Here the 7s cancel out. We have 2 that's remaining up top and 1 on the bottom. So 8 times 2, 16. 1 times 11, 11. And that's our final answer. Number 14. Negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, 4. So these two negatives cancel out and there's a negative that's left. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27 times 4. Perform that multiplication and we get 108. So negative 108 is our final answer. 15. 3 over 10 times negative 15. So here the 5's are in common, cancel that out. And the negative is still there, so 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. 2 times 1 is 2, so negative 9 over 2. 16. 6 over 11 times negative 9 over 10. So the negative remains, as there's no other negatives. Here we have 10 and 6, cancel out the 2's. So we have 3 times 9, 27. 11 times 5, 55. 17. 26.5 negative divided by 5. We can rewrite that as 265 over 10. Now we perform this division, 265 divided by 5. Perform the division and we get 53. So we have negative 53 over 10, which moves the decimal to the left by 1, so negative 5.3. Number 18. Negative 7 over 8 divided by negative 15 over 8. This is the same as times the reciprocal. 8 and 8 cancels out. Negative times negative cancels out. And what's left is 7 over 15. Number 19. 1 over 6 divided by 5 over 6. So this is the same as 1 over 6 times the reciprocal, 6 over 5. The 6's cancel out. And so we have negative 1 over 5. Number 20. 6 times 8 minus 9 plus 12 times 3, 12 divided by 3. So 6 times 8, 48, minus 9 plus 4. So that gives 52 minus 9, which is 43. 21. 17 minus 2 times negative 5. So negative 2 times negative 5 is 10. So 17 plus 10, 27. Number 22. Negative 6.2 plus 0.54 divided by 0.9. So we're going to rewrite the 0.9 as 9 over 10 times the reciprocal, so 10 over 9. We're rewriting 0.54 as 54 over 100. Now we do some cancellations. 9 and 9 is 6 is left, and 10 and 1 of the zeros from the 100. So what's left is 6 on top, 10 on the bottom, which is the same as 0.6. So negative 6.2 plus 0.6 gives negative 5.6. Number 23. 2.1 plus 3.3 divided by 3.6 plus 0.2 times 12. So we'll add the top, giving 5.4, times this here on the bottom, which gives 2.4. 3.6 plus 2.4 is 6, so 5.4 divided by 6. We can rewrite this as 54 over 10 divided by 6, which gives us 9 over 10, which is the same as 0.9 as our final answer. 24. Rewrite each as a ratio of whole numbers. So 12 hours to 1 day is 12 hours to 24 hours. Divide both by 12, so we have 1 to 2 as our final answer. 25. 3 pounds for 45 cents. So we divide by 3 to both, and we have 1 to 15. 1 to 15 is our ratio. 26. Write each ratio in simplest form. 36 over 16 is the same as 2 times 18 over 2 times 8, so that cancels out. And here we can cancel again by 2, which is 9 over 4 as our final answer. 27. 42 to 24. We can divide by 2, giving us 21 to 12. Divide by 3, 7 to 4. So 7 to 4 is our reduced ratio. Number 28. 2/3 divided by 8. We can rewrite this as 2/3 divided by 8 divided by 1. So we have 2/3 times the reciprocal, 1 over 8. Cancel the 2's here, so we have 1 divided by 3 times 4, which is 1 over 12. Number 29. 96y to 36. We're going to divide both sides by 6, which gives us 16y to 6. And there's another 2 in common, so divide that by 2. We have 8y to 3. So that is our final ratio. Number 30, solve each proportion. So 3 over 15 is 15 divided by what? So one of the things when we're rewriting it is we can go times x, divide by 3, times 15, divide by 15, and it gives us this new way, which is another way of just writing it. Let's say here, 1/2 is the same as 2/4, like that. We flip both, so 2 over 1 is the same as 4 over 2, as such. So that's what we're doing here. The x is on the bottom, so we're going to flip like that. And now we're going to go times 15 on both sides. And you see 3 and 15 have 3 in common. So we cancel that out. And so 15 times 5, 75 is our final answer. Number 31, n over 9 equals 5 over 12. We go times 9 on both sides. Cancel out the 3 here. So we get 3 times 5, 15 over 4. Final answer. Okay, 32. Use the diagram to answer the questions. Name the quadrant containing the point C. The point C is here. Quadrant is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how we know quadrant 4 for point C. Number 33. Plot the points. So these points are x comma y right here. So 3x, so 1, 2, 3, and 2y, 1, 2. So this is our first point here. 6, negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6x, negative 1y. That's this one here. Minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1y. That's this point here. Next, negative 1 up 2, like that. And that's our other point right there. Number 34, graph. So how you graphed is up to you. You can do a table and then you could plot the points, or if you know about slope and y-intercept, you can also plot it that way as well. So the point here is 0, 0. When x is 1, y is negative 2. So x is 1, y is negative 2, like that. If we plug in 2, we get negative 4. So 2 at negative 4 as such, and then we draw our graph as such. Okay, number 35. So we have y equals 1 over 3x. So when x is 0, y is 0. So we plug that in. When x is 3, y is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 1 as such. When x is 6, y is 2. So we go to 6 up 2. And there is our graph as such. Number 36. Y equals 5x squared. So when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 5. When x is negative 1, negative 1 squared is 1 times 5 gives 5. And so we're plotting these points on here. So 0, 0, 1, 5, negative 1, 5, and there is our graph. Number 37. Draw a vertical line through the point negative 6, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 0 on the y value, and there's our vertical line as such. 38. Plot the points negative 3, negative 7, and 6, negative 7. Label the midpoint. So negative 3, negative 7, so we're going 1, 2, 3, down by 7. There's our first point here. 6, negative 7, we're going to 6 down to negative 7. Label the midpoint. The midpoint here is 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. So that is our midpoint right there. Number 39. Write as an algebraic expression. A increased by 6. That's just a plus 6. W less than 17. So 17 minus W. 22 divided by the product of C and D. 22 divided by the product C and D. 42. 19 plus A squared. 19 plus A squared. the value in cents of dimes and nickels. So for every dime, you get 10 cents, and for every nickel, you get 5 cents. So 10D plus 5N. 44, twice the number N, 2N. 45, the sum of 7 times a number and 1. So 7 times the number plus 1. That's the sum. 46. The price of a TV that originally cost P dollars after a 20% discount. So 20% discount gives us 0.8 as what you'll pay. So P times 0.8. Evaluate. 47. S times 2 for S equals 3. So we're replacing S with 3 as such, and we get 6 as our final answer. 48. 3 times D for D equals 5.7. So we're plugging it in, 5.7. 5.7 is the same as 57 over 10. We perform that multiplication, 171, divide by 10, 17.1. 49. Minus S minus 27. S is negative 16, so we plug that in here. Negative times negative is positive. So 16 minus 27 is negative 11 as such. Number 50. 5.2 plus n for n equals negative 7.5. So we're replacing n with that value as such. And we're doing 7.5 minus 5.2, which gives 2.3. And so that makes it negative 2.3. 51. 8 times 5 minus z for z equals 2. So 5 minus 2 gives us 3. 3 times 8, 24. D plus 3.4 divided by 5.1 for D equals 22.1. So we replace D with 22.1, perform the addition on the top, and now we're going to say, okay, times 10 on the top and bottom to get rid of the comma. And now we have 255 divided by 51, which is 5. So 5 is our final answer. 53. 3 minus s divided by 6 for s equals 24. So we're plugging in s with 24. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. 54. 2x plus 3 for x equals negative 5. So we're plugging in x with negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 3, negative 7 as such. 55. 1.9 minus 6.4 divided by n for n equals negative 4. So we're plugging in here, n equals negative 4. We're going to rewrite this here as negative times negative, so it's positive. So we're going to rewrite 6.4 as 64 over 10 times the reciprocal, 1 over 4 as such. 64 divided by 4 is 16. So now we have 1.9 plus 1.6, which gives 3.5. Number 56. Negative 21 minus 5x for x equals 8 over 9. So we're starting by replacing x with 8 over 9 as such. And we're going to be performing an addition here of fractions. So we're going to bring 21 to have common denominator of 9. So times 9 over 9 as such. And now we have negative 189 minus 40, which gives negative 229. And to find out how many whole integers there are in this division, we're going to go 229 divided by 9, which gives 25. And so our answer here is negative 25 and 4/9. Number 57. Z divided by S for Z equals 5 and S equals 15 over 17. So we're going to substitute that in. Z equals 5. divided by 15 over 17, which gives us times the reciprocal as such. The 5's cancel out, which leaves us 3. So 17 over 3, which is the same as 5 2/3. Number 58. 4 over n plus 2s for n equals 4 and s equals 6. So here we're replacing n with 4, s with 6. 4 over 4 is 1, 2 times 6, 12. Add them up, 13 is our final answer. Number 59. 1.4 times t minus d for t equals 9.4 and d equals 5.5. So we're plugging in t as such and d as such. Perform the subtraction, we get 3.9. Now we're going to rewrite this as 14 over 10 times 39 over 10. Perform that multiplication and we get 546 over 100. And so now we move the comma to the left by 2, 5.46. Number 60. 2nt for n equals 6 and t equals 5 over 16. So we're plugging in n equals 6, plugging in t 5 over 16. We have some simplifications here, the 2 and the 16, and then the 6 and the 8. So on the, what's left on the top is 3 times 5, 15. 1 times 4 on the bottom, 15 over 4. Number 61. 15 over n plus 6s for n equals -3, s equals -6. So we're plugging in here -3 as such, plugging in s -6 as such. This reduces to -5. This simplifies to -36. Perform that subtraction, -41. Number 62. 3rn for r equals 5 and n equals -2.1. So r equals 5 and -2.1. So this becomes 15 times -21 over 10. Perform that multiplication and we get -315 over 10. Move the comma by 1 to the left, -31.5. Evaluate for the given values. A equals L times W for L equals 2.7 and W equals 2. So A equals LW, plug in L, plug in W equals 5.4. Number 64. A equals a half big B plus little b times H. For B equals 7, B equals 5, and H equals 9. So we're plugging this here 7, 5, and 9. 7 plus 5, 12. 12 divided by 2, 6. 6 times 9, 54. Number 65. V equals 4/3 pi times r cubed. You're usually allowed calculators when you're doing these kind of calculations, so don't worry about that. So here, pi 3.14. R is 3 as such. 3 and one of the 3's cancel out here, so we have 3 squared. So this gives us, when you calculate it on the calculator, 113.04. Number 66. The formula P equals 2 times L plus W gives the perimeter of a rectangle. Find the perimeter of a rectangle whose length L equals 9 inches and width W equals 7 inches. So we start with our equation. P equals 2 times L plus W. L is 9, W is 7. Perform that addition, we get 16. 2 times 16, 32. And so our answer, 32 inches. (67) The formula S equals 2 times LW plus WD plus LD gives the surface area of a rectangular solid. Find the surface area of the solid with length L equals 7 meters, width W equals 4 meters, and depth D equals 9 meters. So here we have S equals 2 times, we plug in our L, 7, plug in our W, 4. Same thing here, W4, D equals 9, L equals 7, D equals 9. perform those multiplications, perform that sum, and we get 2 times 127, which gives 254 meters squared as the surface area. Next, solve. Root something equals 3. Square root of 9 is 3. 9 is our final answer. Number 69. 19 equals n plus 12. We go minus 12 on both sides, which gives 19 minus 12 equals n, which means n equals 7. Number 70. S minus 25 equals 38. We go plus 25 to both sides, and so we get S equals 25 plus 38. S equals 63 is our final answer. 71. 5 and 2/5 minus S equals 1 and 1/10. And so we're going plus S to bring it on to this side, and minus 1 over 10 to bring it to the other side. So we have S equals 5 and 2/5 minus 1 and 1/10. We're going to rewrite the 2/5 as 4 over 10 as such. So we're going to do 5 minus 1, 4, and then 4 minus 1, 3, like that. So 4 and 3/10 is our value. 72. 4b equals negative 48. So we can divide by 4 on both sides so that these cancel out. 48 over 4 is 12, so b equals negative 12. Number 73. 1 over 10 times b equals 10. We're going to go times 10 on both sides so that these cancel out, so b equals 100. Number 74. Minus 5 over 8y equals 40. We want to isolate for y, so we're going to go times 8 on both sides to cancel this out, and we're going to go divided by 5 on both sides to cancel that out, and so we have minus 8 times 40 over 5. 5 in common, what's left is 8 and 8, so y equals negative 64. 75. S over 1.8 equals 3. We're going to go times 1.8 on both sides. So these cancel out, and here you have 3 times 1.8. This is the same as 18 over 10 times 3, which gives 54 over 10, which reduces to 5.4 as our value for S. Okay, number 76. S squared equals 1.44. So what we're going to do is square root both sides. And so now we have S equals root 144, which is the same as 144 over 100. So we're going to square root 144, and we're going to square root 100. This gives us 12 over 10, which is the same as 1.2. So S equals 1.2. 77. Negative root D equals negative 4. So we go times negative on both sides. So we get root D equals 4. Square both sides so that the square root cancels out, and we get 4 squared is 16. So what's left is D equals 16 as such. 48. Negative root T equals negative 1/3 times negative on both sides so they cancel out. Square both sides so that the root and the square cancel out, and so we have T equals 1/3 square, which is the same as 1 over 9. T equals 1 over 9. 79. 3x over 7 plus 11 equals 18. We're going to first get rid of this 11 by going negative 11 to both sides, which gives 3x over 7 equals 7. Next, we're going to go times 7 to both sides so that these cancel out, and you have 7 times 7. So 3x equals 49. We're going to divide both sides by 3, so the 3's cancel out, and you're left with 49 over 3, which is the same as 16 and 1/3. Number 80. 5y minus 0.4 equals 0.4. So we're going to go plus 0.4 on both sides to move this over here as such. We're going to divide both sides by 5 to cancel this 5 here. So y equals 0.8 divided by 5. We're going to go times 2 top and bottom to give us 1.6 over 10. The period moves to the left by 1, so 0.16 is our final answer. 81. Negative 14t plus 15 equals 21. We'll start by getting rid of this 15 by going minus 15 to both sides. What's left is negative 14t equals 6. We're going to divide by negative 14 on both sides to get rid of this negative 14 here. And so we have t equals negative 14, t equals 6 over negative 14, which reduces to negative 3 over 7 as our final answer. Number 82. Minus 28 minus a equals negative 32. We're going to go plus a on both sides to bring the a over here, and then plus 32 to both sides to bring the 32 over there. So 32 minus 28 equals 4, which gives our a value. 83. 20x minus negative 9 equals 25. So minus times minus becomes positive. We're going to subtract by 9 on both sides as such, which gives 20x equals 16. We're going to divide both sides by 20 to get rid of this 20 here. And so x equals 16 over 20, which reduces to 4 over 5. Number 84. Minus 2a minus 0.3 equals 1.4. So we're going to go plus 2a on both sides to bring it over, and negative 1.4 on both sides to bring it over to the left. Now we have 2a equals negative 1.7. We're going to divide both sides by 2 to get a equals negative 1.7 over 2. Rewrite that as 17 over 10 times a half. Perform that division, which gives 8.5. And because we're dividing it by 10, we move it to the left again by 1. So negative 0.85 is our final answer. 85. Find the perimeter. So we're doing this plus that. So perimeter is 9 plus 24 plus 20. It gives 53 feet is our perimeter. 86. Find the area. L times W gives the area. So A equals LW, L equals 4, W equals 2, 4 times 2, 8. So the answer is 8 meters squared. So don't forget your units in your final answer. 87. Here we have 19 times 30. So this section up here can be cut and brought down to here. And so you're left with a rectangle as such. So 19 times 30 gives 570 centimeters squared as our value of the area. Number 88. Here we're looking for the area of such. And so here we have 7 times 7 for this middle square part as such. And so what's left here is 14 times 7. The height, 14 times 7. And because it's divided in 2 as such, we go 14 times 7 divided by 2. And so that gives us this shaded area as such, right there. So we have 49 plus 49, which gives 98 meters squared. Number 89. 2 times 5. So area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So 2 times 5 divided by 2, which gives 5 square feet. Number 90. Whenever there's calculations involving pi, usually you're allowed a calculator. So go ahead and ask your teacher to confirm. And so here the question is, find the circumference. So here r equals 10. Circumference is 2 pi r. So pi is 3.14. R equals 10. So our final answer is 62.8 meters is the length of the circumference. Number 91, find the area. The radius is 8 feet. So surface for the area of a circle is pi r squared. So pi is 3.14. r is 8. Punch that in your calculator and you get 200.96 square feet as the area of the circle. 92. A rectangle has length L equals 12 millimeters and width W equals 10 millimeters. Find the area of the rectangle. So we draw a rectangle here, 12 by 10 as such. Area is L times W, so 10 times 12, 120. 120 millimeters squared is our answer. 93. Find the area of a parallelogram with base B equals 5 inches and height equals 4 inches. So the area here is simply base times height. So our base is 5, our height is 4. 5 times 4, 20 inches squared is the area of the parallelogram. 94. What is the area of a trapezoid with one base B equals 2 1/6 feet, a second base B is 1 5/6 feet, and height 3 1/3 feet? So our equation for the area here is A plus B divided by 2. So A plus B divided by 2 times the height. So we're going to plug in the values that we know. A is here, so 2 1/6 plus 1 5/6, all that divided by 2, and then this value times 3 1/3. So we perform this addition here and we get 4 over 2, which gives 2. So now we have 2 times 3 1/3, which gives 6 2/3 square feet. Number 95. A triangle with base B equals 2 1/3 feet and height h 1 2/3 feet. What is the area of the triangle? So we have base times height divided by 2. So base 2 1/3, height 1 2/3 divided by 2. We're going to rewrite that as 7 over 3 times 5 over 3. We're going to rewrite this here as 7 over 3 times 5 over 3 times a half as such. This goes to 35 over 18, which can be rewritten as 1 17/18 square feet. Number 96. Refer to the diagram to answer the questions. Name a line perpendicular to EF. So here is EF as such. Perpendicular is 90 degrees to it, and so we'll go line EA is perpendicular to EF as such. Draw each of the following. A right triangle with base B2 and height 5. So here's our right angle triangle, 2 and 5 as such. Number 98, the ray EF. So we have point A, point F, and there's our ray connecting the two points as such. 99, the right angle RST. So we remember how to draw a right angle, and this would be point RST as such. So angle RST is a right angle. Number 100, construct a perpendicular line to AB through the point P. So we have our line AB, and we're going through P perpendicular to AB as such. Number 101. So the next bunch of questions, 101 to 103, we're using the Pythagoras theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And this is something that you see in grade 8. So if you weren't able to solve these few problems, 101 to 103, that's totally fine. You can come back and try these questions when you're done grade 8, actually. These are some really good questions. So number 101, find the area of a square inscribed in a square with perimeter P equals 8 inches. So the first thing here, we have 8 inches as our perimeter. We're going to divide that into 4, so S is 2 inches. S is 2 inches as such. And now to get to T, we have 1 squared plus 1 squared equals T squared. This is a right angle triangle like that. So we have 1 squared plus 1 squared equals T squared. So T squared equals 2. And the area of this square here is t times t. T times t gives this area, t squared. So A is t squared, which is 2. So 2 inches squared is our area. Number 102. Find the circumference of a circle circumscribed about a square with area A equals 2 inches squared. So we're looking for the circumference. Now the area here is 2, which is the same as S times S. This here is 2. And so we're going to square root both sides to get S equals root 2. So this here is root 2, and this here is root 2. And this is a right-angled triangle, and we can use Pythagoras' theorem. Root 2 squared plus root 2 squared equals d squared. And so that's what we wrote here. Root 2 squared is 2. Root 2 squared is 2. So d squared equals 4. We're going to square root both sides, which cancels out the square here. And so d equals root 4, which is 2. The circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, but it can be also pi times 2r, which is d, so pi d. So the circumference is pi 3.14 times d, which we found as 2. So the circumference is 6.28 inches. Next, 103. Find the perimeter of a square inscribed in a circle with circumference c equals 10 inches. So here, we're looking at a plus a plus a plus a, which is 4a. So we're looking to find the value of a in order to find the perimeter. So based on what was given to us from the circumference, we know that 10 is the circumference, and that's the same as pi d. And we're going to divide by pi on both sides. So d equals 10 over pi, like that. So this d here, we just found as 10 over pi. And we're going to use, because it's a right angle triangle, Pythagoras' theorem, a squared plus a squared equals d squared as such. And so now it's some algebra. A squared plus a squared is 2a squared. We're going to divide it by 2 on both sides. And then we're going to square root both sides to cancel out the 2. So we have a equals root d squared over root 2. The root and the square cancels out, so your d over root 2. And so we're going to rewrite that as d being 10 over pi times 1 over root 2. So this is our a value here. And we're interested in the perimeter. So the perimeter is 4a. So we take this a and rewrite it here as such. And so we have 40 divided by pi, 3.14, times root 2. You put that in your calculator and you get this value here, which is approximately 9 inches. And so the perimeter of the square is 9 inches. Okay, 104. In the figure, name a pair of perpendicular rays. So for them to be perpendicular, we need them to be 90 degrees between the two lines, or the two rays. So you might look here and say, oh, AO and OD, this looks like 90 degrees. But if we add them up, it doesn't give 90, it gives 89. So AO and OD are not perpendicular. So you compare these different values, and you find that OB and OE are perpendicular. See, 28 plus 32 plus 30, that gives 90 degrees. So OB and OE are perpendicular. Number 105. How many lines of symmetry does an equilateral triangle have? So you can draw an equilateral triangle. There's one here, one there, and one there. So 3 lines of symmetry for an equilateral triangle. 106. How many planes of symmetry does a right rectangular pyramid have? So we can draw that rectangular pyramid, a right rectangular pyramid, and there's one plane going this way and the other plane going that way in the middle. So there's 2 planes of symmetry. Number 107. Name the transformation that maps triangle PMR to PMQ, like that. And so what it is a reflection in PM. So a reflection like that, as such. Okay, number 108. In the diagram, triangle ABC has points A, B, and C. Sketch and label the image triangle A prime, B prime, C prime under the translation of TXY, sending it to x plus 4 and y minus 1. Then draw arrows from points A to A prime, B to B prime, C to C prime. And also name a characteristic shared by A prime, B prime, and C prime. So the first thing we're going to do is sketch the triangle ABC, although that is given to you. And so now we're going to translate each point. So we're doing -6 plus 4, right? -6 plus 4, -1 minus 1 as such. And so our new point is -2, -2. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2, A prime. This is our new point. For B, we're going -3 plus 4. So -3 plus 4 is 1. And then 5 minus 1 is 4. So 1 and 4 is our B prime. So 1 up to 4 is our B prime. Same thing for C. -3 plus 4 is 1. -4 minus 1 is -5. So we go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our C prime as such. So that's our new triangle. And you can see it's a translation. It's the same triangle shifted this way as such. And so you're drawing the rays here as such, and all of them have the same characteristic of down 1 over by 4. Down 1 over by 4. And so the rays are parallel. So that's a characteristic shared by these three lines as such. The rays are parallel. Okay, 109. Using the diagram of the rectangular octagon with center O, determine where the given point ends up after the assigned rotation. So in black is what is given. So we're doing a rotation over O by -270. So going counterclockwise is positive angles, and going clockwise is negative. So we want negatives by 720. So we're starting at C, negative by 270, and we get to point A as such. So A is the end point of that rotation. Okay, number 110. This is not a grade 7 question. What we use is actually first year linear algebra from university. And so if you want to skip over the next couple of minutes, go ahead. I'm going to show with you guys how I did it here, if you're interested. So what is the image of the point 1, 1 under a rotation of 30 degrees about point 2, 2? Express your answer in the nearest hundredth. So something that you would get asked is you have the point here doing a rotation of 30 degrees, and they might ask you to draw that. That could be a fair question, saying, okay, you have this point, you're going by 30 degrees counterclockwise, and you end up at this new point here instead. That could be something that is given. But to find the exact coordinate of that new point, this would not be asked for you in grade 8 at all, so don't worry about it. So the idea is we're going to have this vector here to here. That's our vector v. We're going to put it at the center origin, around the origin here. We're going to rotate it and then bring it back like that. So we're going to take it here, rotate it, and then bring it back. So that's what we're doing now. So our vector here from the point of where it's going around, the point that it's going around of, to 1, 1, we get the vector -1, -1. And so what we have here is a rotating around the origin by theta. We have a matrix times the vector. And what this does is gives us the new vector if it gets rotated by angle theta around the origin as such. And so now we're plugging in 30 degrees into our rotational matrix. We go -1, -1 times this matrix, which gives us this new vector here. This is our x-coordinate and our y-coordinate, which is approximately negative 0.366 and negative 1.366. So this is our rotated vector that we're now bringing it back to the 2, 2 origin by going plus 2 to both, which gives us our final vector of 1.63 and 0.63 being the new point after the rotation. Okay, number 111. A mapping R maps each point xy to the point 3x and y plus 2. Express this mapping using mapping notation and determine the image of the point 3, 1. So this is how you write it. R colon x, y being mapped to 3x, y plus 2 as such. And so we have 3.3, 1 here, 3 times 3 for the x value, and 1 plus 2 for the y value. So the new point is 9, 3. Number 112. Find the range, mean, median, and mode. And so I'll give you a reminder here that range is largest minus smallest value. The mean is the usual average where you sum them up and then divide by the amount of numbers that are there. Median is the middle number, and mode is the number that occurs most often. And so this is what's given to us, and we're going to reorder it from smallest to largest as such. So our range is 350 minus 278, so range is 72. The mean is the sum of these values, which is 27, 27 divided by 9, which gives 303. So our mean, our usual average, is 303. The median, the middle number, so we go here to the middle number, 304. And the mode, what number occurs most often, is 304. Okay, number 113. About how many cars per month were produced in Germany in 1990? So we're looking at this graph here, and so you look at Germany, and it's about 400, like that. But we have to remember to read the legend in our graph here. So number of cars produced in thousands. So this is 400 in thousands. So 400,000 were produced. Number 114. Who ruled England for the shortest period of time? So here we have these different monarchs, age when rule began and age at death. And so we're subtracting this value by this one. And the smallest value here is 68 minus 60, which gives 8. So who ruled for the shortest period of time is King Edward VII as such. 115. Find the number of possible outcomes if you pick a card from a deck of 52 and you toss a coin. Well, there's 52 cards, and heads or tails, which is 2 outcomes. So we multiply that. 104 are the number of possible outcomes. Number 116. You pick a marble from a bag of 5 differently colored marbles, then replace the marble and pick another. Find the number of possible outcomes. Well, when you first pick it, there's 5 possibilities. And because you're putting it back, again is another 5 possibilities. So 5 times 5, 25 is the amount of possible outcomes. 117. Find P of 1 and black. So what is the probability of getting 1 and black? So we have roll a die and pick a marble here. 4 black, 4 gray, and 5 white. So 1 and black. So 1 out of 6 possibilities for the die. And then for the marble, black, there are 4 of them out of 13. So we have 1 over 6 times 4 over 13. We reduce that to 2 over 39. So the probability of getting 1 and black is 2 over 39. 118. Find the probability of getting tail and diamond. So when you flip a coin, heads or tail, so 1 out of 2 possibility for tail. Pick a card. There's 52 cards and there's 4 suits. So diamond is 13 out of 52. Or you could write 1/4. So the probability is 1/2 times 1/4, which is 1/8 as such. Number 119. Find the probability of odd number from rolling a die and king from the card. Well, there are 3 odd and 3 even, so 3 out of 6 for the dice. There are 4 kings in a pack of 52. And so now we have 3/6 times 4/52 as such. And we do some reduction and we get 1/26 as our probability. Number 120. A bag of marbles contains 4 black, 4 gray, and 5 white marbles. Find the probability of picking a gray marble, then picking a black marble without replacing the gray marble. So in the beginning, there's 13 total, and we're looking at picking a gray. So there's 4 gray, so 4 out of 13 is our first probability. And now we're going to try to pick another one, which is black, without replacing the first. So the new total after we've picked up a marble is 12. There's 12 left. And so there's still 4 black. So we have 4 out of 13 for the gray, and then we have 4 out of 12 for the black. We multiply this together, and we get 4 out of 39 is our probability. Number 121. What is the probability of choosing a black card, then a red card from a deck of 52 cards without returning the first card to the deck? So black and red are half and half. Half of them are black, half of them are red. So the beginning of choosing a black card is 1/2. Now we're going to pick a red card, which there are 26 of, but the total in the deck is not 51, it's it's not 52, it's 51 because we did not return the card to the deck. And so we cancel this out here and we have 13/51 as our probability. Okay, number 122. Find the probability of picking the 10 of spades, then an 8 from a deck of 52 cards without replacing the first card. So 10 of spade is 1 single card out of 52. So that's our first. Next, an 8 from the deck. There are 4 8s. So 4 8s out of possibility of 51 because we did not replace it again. So we have 1/52 times 4/51. We do some reduction and we get 1/663 as our probability final answer. And that's it. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you in the next lesson.